a chicken head and make her name it gay!
Dirty dog. Mama, I'm a dirty dog. I'm a dirty dog. Mama, I'm a dirty dog. Dirty dog. Mama, I'm a dirty dog. Dirty dog.
That's not how the Force works.
I don't care.
G'day guys and welcome back to Casual Rage. Prepare to start the show, R2. This is where the fun begins. Hello everyone and welcome to Casual Rage 199. Can you believe it? We are one stream away from the big 200, which I have nothing planned for. No, that's not necessarily true. I do have a couple of things on the go, but we're going to try and make it a bigger event. Hopefully we can get some good guests and we can have some stuff. But I do have to tell you guys, unfortunately, due to me having to change a few things around at work, I won't be doing Casual Rage at all next week. I've had to change my roster day off to Monday instead of Friday. So Casual Rage 200 will be in a fortnight, 2 weeks' time. So 2 weeks from today, we will have Casual Rage 200. But I hope you're all doing well. We're going to casually rage out about the topics of the week. And I know I saw Lara A in here, who's going to come back and watch the replay as she always does. But she said that there's a lot to talk about this week. There is a lot to talk about, I think, when it comes to entertainment just in general. But when it comes to Star Wars, I haven't really noticed that much. Like, even when it comes to Skeleton Crew, I knew that this was going to happen. And speaking of Skeleton Crew and the reviews, I literally watched the final episode like 2 hours ago and recorded my review. So you can expect that out tonight. The final episode, my God, was it bad? Like, you know, the entire plot and the entire story that we went through for Skeleton Crew culminated in really nothing at the end of the day. Like, you really get no answers to the sort of questions that they open up through this show. It was actually kind of mind-blowing. When I got to the end of the episode, I'm like, oh my God. Like, there were two specific answers that I thought we needed to get by the end of this season. Now, I kind of feel like they are, if it's not already greenlit or already planned, they are planning for a season 2. But the two questions that they didn't answer that I thought that they should have at least answered, even just one of them, was who was the original pirate that found at Atten and crashed the ship there? That doesn't get answered. I honestly thought it was the dad. But then even at the beginning of this episode, I'm like, well, the Jude Law character apparently knew who this pirate captain was. And when he saw the dad I know there were people speculating out there that it was Fern's mom or something like that. If the Jude Law, Jord, I don't know, I think that's his name. If he knew who that person was, then he would have recognized them when he saw them. And he obviously didn't recognize either of them. But that question didn't even get answered, right? But then also, too, the other question that didn't really get answered is, what is at Atten? Like, the whole thing was revolving around, obviously, the kids got outside the barrier. They wanted to make their way back home. But the massive controversy in the galaxy was that, you know, these kids were saying that they were from at Atten, but they, like, everybody thought that it was just a myth. But no, it's not. There's other planets that are similar to at Atten that have been destroyed, and at Atten's apparently the last known planet that's a part of this group or something. Don't know how it connects with the Republic, the outside world. Like, the thing is that there were no real answers, and people out there want to say that this show's for kids. You know, they didn't necessarily need to give us that. The kids will love it. It's just a kid's adventure story, right? And I completely disagree. If you want to put this show in the Star Wars universe and put this show in the Star Wars galaxy, you need to make it Star Wars. You need to make it fit. You need to make it work. And that was one thing that this show just didn't do. I've been saying it the whole time I've been watching this show. It's a kids' adventure show for anywhere from, I think I said, from 3 or 4 to 7-year-olds, right? And you take it out of the Star Wars galaxy, and on the surface, it's completely fine. It's completely fine. I will even say some of the performances, like even in this last episode, I will say the performance from Jude Law was pretty good. He's a good actor. You kind of expect that, right? But when it comes to actual, like for example, there was the thing that I talked about. I'm not sure whether or not it was in episode 6 or episode 7. But you know when Jude Law chops off the head of the droid? And the droid just comes crashing down and, like, you know, it's all over. The droid's dead. Now, yes, being a droid, you could probably repair him. But instead of actually repairing him, in this episode, he's holding his head. He's holding his head. He's walking around, right? And he's talking. Is that how droids work in the Star Wars galaxy now? You know, the whole thing about it being close enough. We're talking about the pirate code and how this doesn't align with the pirate code, but the dibsies, you know, the dibsies actually trumps the pirate code in this programmed droid. It's just insanely stupid how this show could even possibly sort of be called Star Wars. And the people out there that want to justify it by saying it's just for kids. I mean, man, the whole fucking thing, all of Star Wars is for kids in your eyes. The whole thing is for kids. So what makes this any different? Is this even more for kids? Like this is for the kids of kids. I don't understand that. I really don't. But we still do have a lot to get through. We will be going through more of Skeleton Crew. And we'll be talking a little bit about that. We've got some Mandalorian and Grogu news. We've got some Rey movie news. What else have we got here? We definitely got Seal of the Week. What else? Oh, we are going to watch. We're actually going to watch Critical Drinker's 8-minute breakdown review of Skeleton Crew because I haven't watched it and I'm interested to see because everybody, like, there's a lot of people out there that were pissed off with how some of these people reacted to this series. And I'd say I agree with them to an extent. 100%. 100%. I watched a stream of Melvin, and Melvin was talking about how, you know, with this, now we've lost some momentum in regards to, you could say, avenging Star Wars. In his eyes, he's avenging Star Wars, and that's a good thing, right? But this is the thing that I want to say. I can see where they're coming from, being not necessarily hardcore Star Wars fans, in the sense that, like I've been saying this whole time, if you just put this as an adventure show for kids, it's fine. Problem is that these people want to ignore the problems. And it's the same thing with Andor, right? Everybody ignores the actual problems when it comes to actually it being in the Star Wars galaxy. You know, like Luthen's store and everything that's in there, or like Mon Mothma and how they cucked her and made her fucking stupid, or how Bail Organa's not even in this show when he should be a really important part of the creation of the rebellion. So people ignore those things because what? It was written better than The Mandalorian? Okay. People ignore those things in Skeleton Crew. Why? Because what? It's for kids, so they can dumb it down. It was so funny. I was actually watching some of Critical Drinker's stream this morning, and Star Wars Theory was on there, and he was saying how the show is simple. And it's so funny. I had to write in the comments, yes, Simple Theory would say that it's simple. Like, it's so... These people call themselves Star Wars fans, and then when it actually comes to them breaking some Star Wars lore, it's okay because it's stupid for kids. And I hate that saying too, because it takes away from the intelligence of kids. I'm not saying kids are the smartest or the sharpest tools in the shed, the smartest things in the world. But there are kids out there that will watch a thing and go, hang on, what just happened? That doesn't make any fucking sense. So anyway, we do have a little bit to get through. I have been hearing about the Brave New World. That trailer came out, and there was a trailer for Daredevil that came out, which I think a lot of people sort of thought that it was good. I haven't watched any of them, and I'm not really interested in watching any of them. You know what's really funny is that all of our entertainment over the last, 5 years, maybe even longer, has been completely destroyed, and DEI inserts and all of these other bits and pieces. It's not always just the DEI stuff, but the creative process of actually making a story and making a show has been completely taken out of what this art actually is. That the only thing that I'm interested in sort of paying attention to is the Star Wars stuff because of my love of Star Wars. It's not because of my love of the crap that they're coming out with. I certainly have no love for that. But who gives a fuck about the MCU right now? Honestly. Honestly. You know, we talk about not giving them money and teaching them a lesson and all of this kind of thing. And, you know, I'm not going to deny the fact that you do what you want to do and I'll do what I want to do. But like, even when I was in America, I went into the Lego store, I bought some Star Wars Lego. Now, even though it's not anything from the Disney canon era of Star Wars, because I bought that Lego, still gave money to Disney, didn't I? Now, you know, I think with the way that things are going right now for Disney Star Wars, the ratings, I mean, this show was horrible when it came to ratings. Worse than The Acolyte, and you couldn't think anything could get worse than The Acolyte. And it's also another funny thing. You watch everybody's videos out there. I watched a Drunk 3PO video just yesterday or something. And, you know, he's saying, just when you thought Star Wars couldn't get any worse, I click on a video of one of Ryan's videos from 6 months ago. And he'll say at the very beginning, just when you thought Star Wars couldn't get any worse. Star Wars is so bad that the only people that care are the Disney shills and the Disney seals. Why? I have no idea, because they were never Star Wars fans to begin with. You know, the revelation that came out of Justin, Star Wars Marvel Purist video about Star Wars Theory. Was he ever like, you know, he talks about his past. He talks about how he got through cancer and stuff like that. And it was all because of Star Wars that helped him. It's a good story. I'm not going to deny that. And there might be some truth to it. But, you know, when you think about the videos that he's made and how it's just basically him reading Wikipedia from the past, it makes you wonder. Makes you wonder, did you just jump on the bandwagon because, you know, there was Star Wars content on YouTube that was just lacking, so you thought you'd fill the void? You know, I'm not massive when it comes to, actually, let me not use Star Trek. Let me use Doctor Who as an example. I know nothing. I've never watched a second, not 1 second of Doctor Who. But that's not to say that I couldn't start a Doctor Who channel and just sit there and record and edit over the top of me talking from Wikipedia about Doctor Who. I could make a big channel out of it, and I couldn't give two shits about it. So it makes you start to wonder, right? And then when you hear things like Theory talking about how, you know, it doesn't matter if Anakin's gay. The trans trooper, he had some controversial statements in regards to that. Makes you wonder. Just makes you wonder. Let's quickly go through. I've been rambling now for 15 minutes. Let's go through and quickly say hello to the chat. Who we got here? We got Tillium in the chat. Shalom. And good to see you all. Good to see you too, brother. We got Nitrium in the chat. No one watched it. Well, that's not true. I did. It was horrible though. Darth Ghostface. Heyo, how you doing? Justin, just as I mentioned, Star Wars Marvel Purist, go and subscribe. We've got Gabriel Knight, sorry. We've got Lara A. We got Trev in the chat. Fuck Disney Star Wars freaks. Yes, there was. I think I missed this. Like, I did see it, but I don't think I've talked about it on stream. So we're going to talk about something. The Brutus beat-offs are over because Brutus is now dead. Fuck Disney. I agree. We got Nuisance Bird. Caw-caw. Skeleton Audience. That's true. Melissa Lord, how you doing? Mike Hill, the great Mike Hill. How you doing? This was the comment that I was looking for. I called dibs on this channel. Yeah. Man, it was so dumb. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. You know, droids being programmed and everything. And I made this point in my episode 8 review, which will be out after the stream. Well, later tonight anyway. You know, in Solo, A Star Wars Story, when they remove the restraining bolts and then all the droids started protesting. You know what that tells me as a Star Wars fan? That these droids were programmed to protest for droids' lives matter, sort of thing. As soon as they remove the restraining bolt, they're standing on tables, like protesting. We don't want to work no more. All of them. That's what they were programmed to do. But the restraining bolt stopped them from doing that, and they were put into slave labor. Even though droids essentially are slaves to their owners. You know, the amount of times that 3PO was like, oh, so scared or wanting to get out of there or whatever. Nah, you do what you're told. LDT3, how you doing? Good to see you. Let's see. Mudcrab. Eric Smash. You know, maybe we do a viral video where I just smash all my Lego. I mean, half of this shit's broken already. Look, because of the cats too. Like, that is missing. Like, it's got this one on this side, but that's come completely off. It might be down the back there. The X-Wing has only one. The other one's missing, and these two have completely come off. This thing's still doing okay, but it has had pieces taken off the top. That's still doing fine. These things over here are still doing okay. But, like, maybe we make a viral video. This is what I think about Disney Star Wars, and just throw them down the stairwell at the bottom of the stairs and just make a massive pile of Lego at the bottom of the stairs. Wait, no, Eric, no, Charles, sigh. Well, Eric is asleep over there in a ball on the couch. And Charles is over there on the cat tree thing, you know, the thing that they claw on and everything, and he's asleep too. It's hot, so they're resting. Watch party of the sequel trilogy. No, thanks. We did that. Me, Greg, Tuscan Bob, and Jeff. We watched all three of those. We did watch parties. Never again. Lethal. Fuck it hell. Episode 5 was the best episode. We got Blabs in the chat. Hi Blabs, how you doing? Skeleton Crew is done for. No way it's getting renewed for a second season after not making Nelson top 10 original streaming charts. You would think so. You would think so. And especially after Acolyte. You know, I actually kind of want this to get a second season. I kind of want this to get a second season because the Acolyte people will fucking flip. They will flip out because this had worse ratings. Despite the fact that this had worse ratings, it was better received. And isn't that this funny thing too, is like you would argue that out of every Disney Star Wars show that they've come out with, every Disney Star Wars show that they've made, the two shows that you could argue people are being kinder to is Andor and Skeleton Crew. And they are two of probably the lowest rated shows. You know why though? Because nobody actually cares. Nobody cared about Andor. And nobody cares about Skeleton Crew, these characters that they come up with. Fear of Fema says, evening all. Anyone catch, theory on open bar today? Like I said, I watched a little bit of it. Like I said, I want to watch Critical Drinker's video on it. We were going to go and watch, I think it was episode 6 of Shill Wars, because that's where I'm up to. But we might skip through and like check that out too. Maybe just a little bit. Did they take the mask of the villain and reveal who would have gotten away with it? Sorry, I don't know. Pro Jack fan, how you doing, Pro Jack fan? Good to see you. So it's like the Ewok show. I'd say it's worse. SWA for his 9-month member chat. Thank you. Says Drinker, Theory, Angry Badger, Shilling, DS. Sorry, I don't know the abbreviations. TS. Thank you for the member chat. Let's go. We'll have a look. Let's see. We also have in the chat Papa Palpatine's Pizza Padawan saying Rage on, Raging Rhino. Let's see who else we got. Melissa. Like what you like, but Skeleton Crew is a lame 80s. I don't even want to call it a Goonies ripoff. Amberlin, no. It was its own thing. But like I said, it's fine if you take it out of Star Wars. It's when you put it into Star Wars that it starts becoming a problem. Now, I would never have watched it if it wasn't a Star Wars thing, but it would have been fine for kids. I will say that they definitely made Fern like the looks on her face, the way that she emotes. Now, I'm going to say that she had a good acting performance in her emotions and stuff like that, but it was the way that she was told to emote that was the problem, as far as I'm concerned. Lego Arc 170. Now I'll show you what I got. Hold on a second. And I see you, Scotty. This is what I got. I didn't spend a lot. It was like what, $70 or something. Was it even that much? Honestly, I don't think it was even that much. I just saw the name. I didn't read the comment. Top shelf, huh? So I got this. Which is just the Sarlacc pit. Cool. You know, it's cool. 558 pieces. You know, that's the difference between American Lego boxes and Australian Lego boxes. I don't really know if there is a massive difference, but American ones, they actually tell you, I don't think I've got a box here, but they actually tell you how many pieces are in it, whereas Australian boxes, they don't. They don't, which is really, really strange. Anyway, we will build that eventually. Let's see what else we got in here. Mate, I don't need to buy them specific Lego to play with. I've just shown you what they've done to my fucking collection already. Yeah, that's true. Star Wars is like an ex you used to think was hot. Yep. We've got Blake in the chat. How you doing, buddy? Dr. Rhino. Alfred, how you doing? Good to see you. Raging who? So he faked cancer. Who? Boogie. SG1. Fuck. Mudcrab's the one that just keeps reminding me of it. This is crazy, says Mozza. You want a link, Moz? You can come on and talk about Disney Star Wars. Star Wars Theory is a Disney shill. Let's see. Have I missed anyone? Alistair Campbell, how you doing? From Scotland. Scottish. Very cool. Very, very cool. 3PO wasn't in the Union. Cliff Notes Theory. I still like Simple Theory. I still do really like Simple Theory. Do the cats charge you rent? No, but I should probably start charging them. Fuck. New sub. Good shit, bro. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate that. If I could throw out any recommendations for any of the videos that I have done, it would probably be more so my scripted videos. I really, I still think that they're some of my better videos. They're not just me sitting on screen, talking, reacting, all of that sort of thing. Put a bit of thought and effort into them. So I've done one on, there's my whole series of Disney Star Wars continuity. It's a series. And then there's a video that I did for Ahsoka. There's a video I did for Boba Fett. There's a video that I did for the continued destruction of Luke Skywalker. I really liked that one. In fact, in the continued destruction of Luke Skywalker, that video has a Ryan Kennel cameo, but he doesn't play himself. Dr. Coffinails is here. How you doing, Dr. Coffinails? Hey, we've got nearly 40 people watching. That's awesome. We're getting those numbers back up, which is really cool. Soul Assassin's here. How you doing, Soul Assassin? GT Weber. Let's see if I missed anyone. I'm pretty much at the bottom. If I have missed anyone, I do apologize. But thank you for being here. Oh, man, I saw that Twilight Lego set. I saw Steph posted it and she says, I want it. I was going to write like, no. Lego, what are you doing? Ghost Riders. What are you doing, Lego? What are you doing, Disney Star Wars? How about that? There you go. Soul Assassins dropped the link. So if you are new here, that's one of the playlists. I will say, like, the Disney Star Wars continuity playlist, I kind of wish that I did them a little bit differently. I was trying to be funny and I was trying to be like a little cheeky, I guess. And it didn't really... I go back and I watch them and I sort of cringe myself a little bit. So I had some fun with it, though. Let's see. Trevor asks, who do you think is worse? Kathleen Kennedy or Dave Filoni? God. What do you reckon, chat? What do you reckon? Should I poll that? No, we won't poll it. But what do you guys think? Who's worse? Dave Filoni or Kathleen Kennedy? That's a really hard one because I feel like Kathleen Kennedy really did ruin the franchise. She came in and fucked it. But Dave Filoni is the one that continues fucking it moving forward. And I will say, even before George sold it, Dave was already doing damage to the franchise. It hadn't destroyed it. But what he's doing now is, I think, KK is trash both. I got to agree with Ghostface there. I think both of them are actually just as bad and just as horrible for Star Wars as each other, to be honest with you. SWA for $5. Thank you, dude. Says Angry Badger has a Theory Saber. DS is Drinker Stream. Thank you. And TS was Theory Saver. Sorry. You didn't have to send that as a super chat, SWA. Thank you, though. TCW movie all over again. We are going to talk about that, actually. If you're talking about the Rod of the Hut thing. Thank you for the super chat. We are definitely going to talk about that. Let's get into some of the things because, man, I've been going for half an hour. This has been good. I'm actually having a good time. Are you guys having a good time? I'm having a good time. All right. Let's bring this up. Because this to me really does go to show how out of touch and how much Disney Star Wars likes to virtue signal, and how that based on those virtue signals and everything that they're doing, they move away from Star Wars and real Star Wars in that sense. So let's take a look. This is from the direct. Official new Star Wars variant covers highlight Rey, Ahsoka, and Leia to celebrate Women's History Month. Okay. I'm going to say when they do Black History Month, they do Women's History Month. I didn't even know there was a Women's History Month, to be honest with you. Do we get a Man's History Month? Anyway, Women History Month. What month is that? Is that January? The month that we're in? Let's have a look. No. So it's from March 1st. It's March. Fucking stupid. But this is how fucking stupid they are. They put Rey on a cover called The Legacy of Vader. They put Ahsoka on a cover called Jedi Knights. Okay, so first of all, she's got no attachment to Vader. She doesn't know Vader. She doesn't, Luke Skywalker was a myth to her. But they put Rey on a Vader cover. They put a non-Jedi on a Jedi cover. And they put Leia on the Rise of Skywalker. Okay, if you had these three titles and you had those three characters and you had to put those three characters' titles, you would put Leia on Vader, being Vader's daughter. You would put Rey on this cover, hang on. You would put Rey on this cover. Fuck. You couldn't do it. You could probably put Leia on this cover. You could probably put Leia on this cover too. You could put Ahsoka on this cover, being that she was Vader's apprentice, I guess. But putting Rey on a Vader cover? Come on. Come on. Good luck selling them. That's all I have to say. This is all Disney Star Wars has become. One big DEI virtue signal. That's what Star Wars is. It's a platform for virtue signaling. And then they gaslight you into thinking that you're the one that's fucking got the problem. Not that you ever think that, but you're the one that's got the problem because, man, they start to gaslight you in actually saying that, oh, the originals were really fucking bad. This actually fixed it. Proving that they were never actually Star Wars fans to begin with. How about using Vader, Ben, and Luke? Well, yeah. but then like they all three of those characters would have to transition. I mean, it's not hard for Luke to transition. He's already a pussy in real fucking life. Mark Hamill, Star Round 7, how you doing? Doesn't make sense for Rey to be on either cover. Well, the Rise of Skywalker, the only reason why I would say that, like, she's no Skywalker. We all know that, and we're all pissed about how they ended that and gave, she took the name and all of that kind of thing. But at least she's in the movie. You know what I mean? Excuse me. At least she's in the fucking movie. I thought the Skeleton Crew ratings are in the gutter. So how can it get another season? I don't think it will, to be honest with you. But it certainly wouldn't surprise me if it did. Disney Star Wars is that stupid that, honestly, it surprised me that they didn't give The Acolyte a second season. But I'm curious, actually, like, if you remember, the budget for The Acolyte was huge. Is there any reports on the Skeleton Crew budget? $136 million. So it's nowhere near the budget of The Acolyte. Nowhere near it. It's less than half. I'm pretty sure. Hang on. It was over 230 million. So it's what, about 40% of the Acolyte budget. Which still doesn't mean anything, to be honest with you. It still doesn't mean that they should do a second season. It was horrible. It was rated horribly and people just didn't care. Let's see. Melissa, thank you. Excuse me, for the $5. Rhino, do you think they make this KOTOR show? I hope not, because it will be horrible. Here's $5 to offset your Disney purchase. Rey isn't a Skywalker also. Thank you. Thank you very much. KOTOR. I used to think to myself, like, stop it. Like, Disney Star Wars, stop it. Stop Stop plucking shit out of the EU and bringing it in and then destroying it. Making it something that it's not. I really need to get that clip of Dave Filoni. It's rude. Make it something that it's not. But you know what, Melissa? I don't want them to do it, and I don't want them to touch it, and I certainly don't want them to go anywhere near Revan. However, I kind of feel like now just saying do it. It's kind of the same thing with the Rian Johnson trilogy and the Rey movie. And like nobody wants any of that stuff. No one. But you know what? Fucking do it. You've already destroyed the franchise to the point where it's unrecoverable. So why not just fucking like burn the ashes? Keep beating that dead horse. Rey is a nobody. I completely agree, Ren. Completely agree. Thanks, Melissa, for the $5. Like it's one of those things, KOTOR. Like it's, I don't want them to do anything with Star Wars anymore. This Is the Way drove me nuts. You and me both. And then the fans coming out. Oh, look at this show. This is the way. Oh, man. It's almost like they did it intentionally. It was like subliminal messaging. This is the way. Oh, they've made a correction. And this is where people make the arguments about Star Wars theory. Actually, I'm going to bring it up. People make these arguments about Star Wars theory, right? Where is the clip? Fuck. There it is. Let me play this. Now, I can't remember whether or not this is going to be a nominee for Seal of the Week. It might. I can't remember where it's in the lineup. But check this out.
It's a different era today. People checked out. They're angry. They're no longer in love with the franchise. They're in love with the memory of it, of what it used to be.
That's true.
I've kind of grown apathetic myself.
Bullshit.
And I've grown weary. And I've
bullshit.
Like, what are they going to ruin now?
Bullshit.
It's
bullshit. You know why I'm calling bullshit? Because you're fine with them making Anakin gay. You're fine with all of this stuff. You like 70%. You have given 70% of Disney Star Wars a 7 out of 10 or above. So don't go telling me you're apathetic, you fucking lying piece of shit. Grifting off Star Wars. Fucking lying dumb cunt. And everybody listens to this guy. Fucking hell. Everybody's become apathetic to it. They're falling. I agree with the first part of what he said there. Right? The people have fallen out of love with this thing. They're angry. And that's true. They are. I'm fucking angry. So should you if you were an actual Star Wars fan. It's funny, you know, Ryan Kennel, RK Outpost, doesn't actually do lore videos. He barely watches Star Wars. So, like, he watched, obviously, Acolyte. There was a big thing around that, and they're reporting on it, and they're talking about it on FNT and all of this kind of stuff. You see how angry he gets sometimes on his videos when he's just doing one of his general reports. You don't see him that angry on anything else other than Star Wars. But at least he's still fucking got his soul, Star Wars theory. He hasn't sold it. And I don't know who you've sold it to exactly. Whether or not it is actually to Disney or whether or not it's actually to your fans and you know, get on your knees and suck the cock of the chat. That seems to be where we're at now. It's no longer, well, he still does suck Dave Filoni's cock, you know, and it's so funny that a couple of, just after the Acolyte and stuff, I was saying how hard I was on theory. You know, at least he's starting to come around. Yeah, that lasted a week. G'day, Benzo. Yep. Well, this is the thing. Anyone that has been or was a Star Wars fan still loves Star Wars, actual Star Wars, what it represents, and all of that. Borg Porg says, "G'day, Borg Porg. I like when Ryan and Jeremy fight about Dave Filoni. So do I, because normally Jeremy puts his fucking foot in his face, foot in his mouth. I'm normally, when those debates take place, I'm normally right on the side with Ryan. It was like the Filoniing too. Let's see. All right, let's get rid of this. So yeah, they're doing some variant covers for Women's History Month. And it just, to me, I just found it funny because it just didn't line up. You got Rey on Vader's cover. You've got a non-Jedi that keeps saying that she's not a Jedi until more recently when she gets called a Jedi and she just takes it on the chin. Ahsoka Tano on the cover for Jedi Knights. And then you've got Leia on the cover for Rise of Skywalker. So dumb. So very stupid. Let's move on. Let's move on to some other news here. Hang on, let's make it a bit bigger so that you guys can actually see the words. Because, with my reading, sometimes you guys get through it quicker than I do. New details on Sean Levy's Star Wars film have reportedly been revealed. Could start filming as early as fall 2025 in the UK. Could. It's possible. It's possible. And it was originally going to feature Daisy Ridley as an old Rey Skywalker. It was originally. So what's it going to contain now? Curious. You've basically given us no new news. You've said that it could start filming, and you've said it was going to feature Rey Skywalker. Thanks. Oops. Whoa. Mike Hill, I just shared your DMs, buddy. And I went the wrong way. See what he said? He said Star Wars theory's a faggot. Did you see that? No, he didn't. Hey, yes, that's right. You want the link? Come on, Flash. Talk about some Star Wars. Skeleton Crew. That's right. It's a Star Wars stream. So yeah, like I said, they haven't really given us any new news. It could start filming in the UK of fall 2025. And it was going to feature Rey Skywalker. Okay. So I'll believe when the filming starts, when I see it, when they officially say, yes, we're going ahead. Yeah, dude, you're not the only one that didn't watch that trash. The majority of the world didn't watch it. The majority of the fucking world. Man, I want them to give it a season 2. I really do. The more I think about that, the more I want them to give Skeleton Crew a season 2, because the Acolyte people will flip out because it had worse ratings than the Acolyte. Talk about dingoes. A dingo ate my baby. It's dingoes. All right. So yes, we'll wait and see. It's kind of like when they do all these announcements, they say, Star Wars, where they announce a new movie or a new show or a new this or a new director or whatever. It's gotten to a point now where I will believe it when I see it. I will believe it when I see it. I don't buy into the fact that they've got like anything planned. Thank you. The power of many. What is this? Star Wars? Okay, Best West. Yeah, that's right, Trev. It's Disney Star Wars. It's crap. But then I want to talk about this. Like we just talked about the Sean Levy movie. Now, this is the thing. What we've got Sean Levy. We've got James Mangold. We've got, isn't there a Rey trilogy or something? I don't know who's behind that. But we do have Charmin Obaid-Chinoy with the Rey solo movie. You got Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni essentially doing Mando and Grogu. Now, yes, we are getting some of these things. I can't wait to see the box office for Star Wars. It's been so long since Star Wars has been in theaters that I really can't wait to see what happens. And I tell you what, tell you this now. If the next movie that they come out with in the Star Wars franchise makes, I want to say even $500 million, $500 million at the box office, I'd be shocked. And that, like, we're talking about Star Wars here. So you would almost automatically assume that it would be making upwards of what, 800 million? Truly, with how the ratings have been recently, with how people care about the characters, I think season 3 of Mandalorian did damage to the characters of Mandalorian and Grogu, Din Djarin. She likes to make men uncomfortable. That's, yeah. I almost wish that was the next movie and not Mando and Grogu. But speaking of Mandalorian and Grogu, this was reported. Let's get rid of that tab. There was something else in here too, yeah. Actually, let me go to this one first. Embo is reportedly hired by some Hutts in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. This is the twins that were in the Book of Boba Fett, right? So he was hired. And if you don't know who Embo is the one that's got the hat. He's like Raiden, right? He's like Raiden. But that's not even like the problem here. The main plot of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie is rumored to be about Mando and Grogu rescuing Rudder against Embo, who wants to kill Rudder. Rota? I don't know how you fucking pronounce it. To me, that, like, are we just redoing the TCW movie? And how the fuck? Actually, you know what? I was going to do this before we went live. And Grizzy, I did see you in the chat there, buddy. How you doing? The great Grizzy, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not subscribed, you know what to do. I want to just check something here. Rata. Is it just... Oh, no, it's double T. Oops. Let's say TCWH. Oh my God, I had no idea. Rudder the Hutt in the TCW movie is 55 years old. How? Hold on. How do Hutts age? So in Star Wars, Hutts age slowly and can live for centuries or even millennia. Okay, so what age though do they become? How old was Jabba in Return of the Jedi? He was 600 years old, around 600 years old. It just makes me wonder. Like we've got Grogu, who's supposed to be a 50-year-old being, and in what the 10 years of development that he's had all the way up until Mando season 3, especially if he did spend 2 years with Luke, he hasn't changed at all. Like hasn't developed, hasn't grown between the ages of 50 and 60. Now, in the case of Hutts, that would probably mean that every, 10 years is like a year for us, human years, sort of thing. Is that right? Yeah, so like 100 years would be 10 years old, sort of thing. So 50 years would be like 5, hence why they're like babies. But this is the thing. If Mando and Grogu are going out there to rescue Rod of the Hutt from Embo, is he still, like, how old is he supposed to be in Mandalorian and Grogu, right? Let's check that, see if they give us anything. I don't know if it's going to tell us. He'd likely be a young adult. Okay. It just seems to me like they're just redoing the fucking TCW movie. This, to me, and it just goes to show for me how bankrupt, like creatively bankrupt they actually are. He would still look like an infant. Yeah, probably. It just, to me, this is stupid. Look at the hashtags that they put on this. Star Wars, The Mandalorian, Ahsoka, Grogu, Din Djarin, Fennec. Fennec? They don't even put the hashtag Embo in there. Anyway, that's just silly. But anyway, look, it's one of those things like, I'm not going to say that I'm not going to watch this movie, but I'm certainly not going to theaters to watch it. I'd be hoping that Flash can get me a free ticket. Flash you'll probably want to watch this, Flash. You'd probably want to watch it. Stupid. Yep. So yeah. It's going to be interesting on a couple. No, thanks. It's going to be interesting on a couple of levels to see what this story is going to be, to see how it's received. You know, if you think that Star Wars right now is on a decline, like if this tanks, if this is another Solo a Star Wars story, worse than Solo a Star Wars story, wow. Hey, Jody? Flash is in the chat. Yes, he is. Giving me shit for talking about Star Wars. Because it's what I do. So, look, like I said, with all the shows, with all the movies, with all the announcements and everything, when it really comes down to it, I'm now at a point where I don't believe any of the rumors. I don't really listen to any of the rumors. I pay attention, but I'll believe it when I see it. I will believe it when I see it. Let's see. Yeah, guys, please do smash the like button. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe or consider subscribing. It's free. It helps the channel. Watch some videos. That'd be nice. Sail the high seas. Yeah, that's usually how I get my free ticket, Flash. I hate, like, I could do it myself, but I hate it because the amount of times you start getting fucking, like, viruses and shit, like, from these torrent files and stuff. It's just like, no. I haven't done it in so long. So very, very, very long. All right. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the Disney Star Wars freaks. Because there are some weird fucking people out there. These new Disney Star Wars fans that Disney Lucasfilm have culminated are fucking weirdos. They're creeps. A lot of them are pronouns in bio, LGBTQ, and I'm not saying all of necessarily the LGBTQ community is fucking weird, but mate, there's some fucking freaks out there. But I wanted to share this with you. This was posted on the 14th of January by this person, but the original post, it doesn't have a date on it. The original post, I believe, and I think there's a possibility that even Melvin talked about this. Maybe even Grizzy talked a little bit about it too. I'm not 100% certain because it's hard for me. I can't pay attention to every single stream. Normally I'm at work when a lot of people are streaming. Excuse me. And a lot of those guys too. But Emperor Jared here says, what the fuck was the official Star Wars doing responding to these freaks? The Star Wars account is literally is a literal joke, bro. They respond to horny weirdos. Now, this is about the Brutus beat-offs, right? These people are so fucking weird. Some of them are furries. Like, it has completely been infiltrated and overtaken by the weirdest parts of the left. And I know I don't normally talk, I don't talk politics on this channel at all, really. But I got nothing else. Read this. You're 4 inches deep into Chimere, and Brutus is 4 inches deep into you. Do you move backwards or forwards? The Star Wars account says I'm cackling. Hashtag Skeleton Crew. I'm cackling. Oh, what was this in response to, actually? Because it's not that tweet. Man, it's so fucking small and blurry. Mama, a Brutus behind you. These people are fucking weird. I love that. Anna's the one that actually sent this to me. Cackling, that's right. The official Star Wars account is cackling at these freaks talking about Brutus standing behind you, Mom. And the same freak said this. You're 4 inches deep into Chimere, and Brutus is 4 inches deep into you. Do you move forward or backward? Oh, I mean, to me, that's fucking disgusting. And you know what? These are the people that need to be gate kept out of the Star Wars fandom, out of the franchise. You're a fucking weirdo. Go watch some porn. And obviously gay porn. Fucking weird freaks. I completely agree. Completely agree. I mean, seriously, I'm sure there's a lot of people in the chat right now. There's a lot of people out there that have been Star Wars fans for a long time. You know, I would say I've been a Star Wars fan for at least 30 years of my life. And over time, the more and more I get into it, the more and more I love it. But we never once talked about Star Wars like this. We never once talked about Star Wars, about the shipping thing. For those of you that don't know, I mean, I know there's a lot of you in the chat right now that have probably heard this story and probably heard me talk about this on multiple occasions, right? But this would have been about, a year or two ago? And I can't remember exactly what it was in response to or what was out at the time or anything like that. But there was this guy that put a post on Twitter or on X and said, got a new job. And I'm giving you this, obviously, I'm not giving you it verbatim. But he goes, I got a new job. I went to the job and, meeting people and stuff like this. And I was sort of standing around the water cooler and I was talking about how I was a massive Star Wars fan, right? And there was another one of his colleagues there that was saying that they were a massive Star Wars fan too. And he just happened to ask, the guy that got the new job, happened to ask this other Star Wars fan, what's your favorite ship? And he said, what was it? Oh, man. I think it was around the Boba Fett era. Oh, man. What was it? Oh, chat. Can you remind me? It was the Timothy Oliphant or whatever his fucking name is from basically the person Din Cobb. Thank you, Blake. Blake remembers. Din Cobb was his response to what is your favorite ship? Din Cobb. Din Djarin and Cobb Vanth, right? Wants those two to fuck. And that's his favorite ship. And the guy was like, what? I've never heard of a Din Cobb. What's a Din Cobb? He goes, Din Djarin and Cobb Vanth. And he's like, no, your favorite spaceship. You fucking weird cunt. That was the person's response to what is your favorite ship? Din Cobb. Let me ask you guys in the chat. What's your favorite ship? We got already a couple of answers. We got Slave 1. Bulba and Fennec. We got X-Wing. We got the Razor Crest. Now, I will argue the fact that the Razor Crest was a pretty cool ship. I'm even going to argue the fact that the ship that they gave us in Skeleton Crew looked pretty cool. I will say the way that they actually fucking got it out of certain situations and stuff is fucking ridiculous. Star Destroyer, that's cool. And the TIE Fighter's the close second. Cool. We got Slave 1 or the Falcon. It's funny. Like, if I was talking, like, what is my favorite ship, it would probably be the Falcon. But if I had a, I'd say it'd be a B-Wing. Like, my favorite, like, my true favorite is a B-Wing. These things are so cool. Get Dusty, that is. These things are really cool. Because, like, literally, the cockpit is what rotates. Really cool. I love the way they fly. I love the design. Imagine if I just fucking sat here and just broke it right now. Oh, there's a missing piece on this too. Fucking cats. But yeah, a B-Wing would probably be one of my favorite ships. But if I had like fighters, like if I was to separate them into let's say like a cargo sort of ship or a bigger ship, something that you could live in and sleep in, compared to just a fighter. If I had a favorite fighter, it would be a B-Wing. If I have a favorite ship, it'd be the Falcon. Y-Wings are cool too. X-Wings are awesome, obviously. TIE Fighters are awesome. TIE Bomber, they are cool. What a piece of junk. The B-wing is sick. The thing that like, I love the B-wing so much. Like, I wish we saw more of it. You know, in the last episode of Skeleton Crew, there was a couple of B-wings, but you never really see them in proper true action. Like, it was literally them just flying down and firing a beam at the things. And that beam was technology that was designed in TCW, pretty sure. Grrr, not the fire spray. Yeah. Can't call it Slave 1 anymore. I will say Slave 1 is an awesome ship, though. It really is. Well, I think they are pretty solid because they kind of have to be. The thing that I like about the Rebellion ships as opposed to the Empire's fighters is, and there's obviously a distinct difference, is the fact that the X-Wing, Y-Wing, B-Wing they've all got their own separate hyperdrives, whereas a TIE fighter needs to be on a Star Destroyer and then get released. So when it comes to arriving to a battle, I will say the Rebellion's probably in a better position because they can fucking shoot into a battle and just start fighting. Whereas a Star Destroyer, and it doesn't take long for them to launch the TIE fighters, to be honest, but still, you need a Star Destroyer to, you know, hyperdrive into the battle and then release all the TIE fighters. Is there any TIE fighter that's got a hyperdrive attached? I think there was one, wasn't there? Was it the bomber? Because it's got that bigger... I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe there wasn't any. In Rebels. Sorry, was that the beam thing for the B-Wings? See, I'd rather B-Wings just be... Like, they've got their lasers, but, like, they are a bomber. A B-Wing and a Y-Wing are more so bombers than they are, like, actual maneuverable fighters. So they kind of need a little bit of protection because they are big and bulky. Not so much a B-Wing. A B-Wing's very, for a bomber, it's very agile, I would say. Vader's had a hyperdrive. Was it? Oh, that's right. No, yeah. Yep. And the TIE Defenders and yes, the both of those two, correct. Yeah. But they weren't big hyperdrives, were they? They were just sort of level 1 hyperdrives or something like that. Because you couldn't put a massive hyperdrive in a TIE fighter or even a TIE Defender, a TIE Interceptor. No, the TIE Interceptor wasn't. TIE Advanced. Melissa, I played TIE Fighter way too much. But yeah, look, I'm the thing for me with Disney Star Wars is that Disney Star Wars now, all it really does is cater to the freaks. Cater to the freaks. That's it. And these people are weird. Like, really fucking weird. I mean, who honestly, honest to God, when it comes to anything Star Wars, who puts a post out there saying that they're you're 4 inches deep in Chimera and Brutus is 4 inches deep in you. Do you move forwards or backwards? Like, that's weird, man. It's fucking weird. It's fucking weird. Hey, we're getting through this stuff actually pretty quick. This might be a shorter stream, but it's all right. We already talked about that theory clip. Let's hear it again.
It's a different era today. People check.
Did you just lose audio? I'm curious because I just unplugged my headphones. Did you just lose audio? I'm going to reshare it anyway because I reckon you did.
It's a different era today. People checked out.
Well, the one thing that I want to say about that, you didn't lose it. Oh, there you go. It's a different era today. Yeah, in real life, it's a different era, but Star Wars shouldn't change. Star Wars should stay the same.
They're angry.
Yep.
They're no longer
We are angry,
in love
and we're no longer in love with the franchise,
with
100%.
the franchise. They're in love with the memory of it.
And I agree with that. We are in love with the memory of it. And we're also in love with real Star Wars still. You know, we still talk very highly. And when I say we, I'm talking about actual Star Wars fans and mainly people like, where is she? I just saw her in the chat. OG Star Wars, Justin, Star Wars Marvel Purist, Grizzy, Melvin, Tim, right? The Gatekeepers Alliance, Ryan Kennel, right? That we love Star Wars. We will continue talking about the expanded universe. We will continue talking about the original 6 movies. We will continue talking about the parts of Star Wars that are actually really good and that we actually love. Real Star Wars, right? But 100%, people like don't love Disney Star Wars. Actual Star Wars fans don't like it. They don't love it. They don't care about it.
Of what it used to be. Kind of grown apathetic myself.
And this is where I don't buy it.
I've grown weary, and I've kind of become like, what are they going to ruin now?
It's kind of like when they say, actually, it's funny. So this is a nominee for Seal of the Week. Carl Catan, queer. We are so back. Back from what exactly, Kyle? What are we back from? Did you like Mandalorian season 1, 2, and 3? Yes. Did you like Book of Boba Fett? Yes. Did you like Obi-Wan Kenobi? Yes. Did you like Ahsoka? Yes. Did you like Andor? Yes. Did you like Skeleton Crew? Yes. Did you like... What am I missing? Bad Batch? Yes. Did you like Tales of the Jedi? Yes. Did you like Tales of the Empire? Yes. Did you... What are we back from exactly? What was so bad in Disney Star Wars for you to come out and say, we're back? We're so back. It's such a fucking lie. Anyway, you get to see one of the nominees for Seal of the Week early. And Theories used that same saying before too. You know, we're back, baby. We're so back. They're so back that they're backing up onto Brutus. More Skeleton Crew. So Star Wars Holocron here, who is a bit of a shill and a bit of a seal himself, says Skeleton Crew co-creator Christopher Ford explains why the finale didn't feature a flashback explaining George's origins. You didn't explain anything in the final episode. You didn't give us any flashbacks for George's origins, which based on where we were, you didn't need to actually show that. That's not even a question I would ask. The question I would ask is, why didn't you explain who the pirate was? Why didn't you give us some sort of flashback to the ship originally crash landing on the planet or something and giving us some sort of indication of who the original pirate captain was that found at Atten? No, nothing? Okay, cool. What about how important the planet of Atten seems to be and how enclosed and protected it is? You tried to give us information throughout the entire series, but from one episode to the next, there was contradictory information. So you kind of needed to clear that up and actually tell us, how does this planet, communicate? How do they get their resources? Are they self-sustainable, right? Are they able to have an entire civilization there for centuries, right? Since the old Republic days? And still be able to survive, drink, eat, live, dispose of waste, like all of that sort of thing for how long they have been and completely isolated from the rest of the galaxy. They're the things that you needed to explain. And the fact that you're even bringing this up as a thing, obviously you must have got asked the question. Like, why didn't you do that? Anyway, let's read the quote here. The challenge was, what? The challenge, though, was, okay. The challenge, though, was as fascinating as Jord is, we always wanted to keep it from the kids' perspective. The kids are like, I don't understand this guy. They've never been out in, they've never been out in the galaxy and met someone as damaged as him. So I don't think we could have done a flashback in this season. Sorry. I got a question for this co-creator. When you do a flashback scene for some context for the audience, does that mean that the kids know that information too? It seems to be the case in Disney Star Wars, right? That every time you see a flashback, it's like, okay, these actors that are in present time have actually read the script, so they know that information when it comes to them actually portraying that when they probably shouldn't know that information. This is a stupid thing, and this is where the creative process has gone completely out the door. Because that's, okay, whether or not you wanted to know Jord's origins or not, a flashback probably would have been good. It probably would have helped. To be honest, it probably would have. Hey, Captain Keeley. But to say that we wanted to keep it from keep it as the kid's perspective, that you're full of shit. You know why I know you're full of shit? Because if you wanted to keep it from the kid's perspective, then everything that we saw, all the scenes that we saw that didn't have the kids in it, you shouldn't have shown us. So when Jord was on the ship with Brutus, and you know he's about to be thrown out the airlock and everything, the kids weren't on the ship. So make that make sense. No, you know what it is? You know what it is? They didn't think of it. They didn't think, oh shit, maybe we should actually give the audience a little bit of context into Jord's backstory. Maybe we should give the audience a little bit of context into who the pirate captain was that originally crash landed on the planet. Maybe we should give the audience some context in regards to what the fuck this planet even is and why it even exists and why they've got over 1,000 vaults full of new Old Republic credits. Maybe we should give the audience some context to that. Now, you can either give some audience some context to that in flashbacks. You can give the audience some context to that in regards to just having two people talk, have the dialogue, have that filler, right? Because you do it anyway, which is a shitty way of telling the story, but you do it, so you may as well do it. But they didn't do any of it. Kids watching this show are getting to the end of it going, oh, I really wanted to know who that captain was. Oh, well, maybe I'll wait for season 2. Cancelled. Oh, I'm intrigued to know a little bit more about At-Atten. Fuck you. Oh, I'd like to know a little bit about Jord's backstory in regards to why he didn't just kill the kids. Man, there were so many opportunities there that if he was the evil guy that he was portraying to be and just wanted the credits and wanted the kids to shut the fuck up, he would have killed them. He just would have killed them. So there's got to be some sort of context there on why he didn't kill them. Was it because maybe when he was a kid, right, he was threatened with his life and that made him feel a certain way and he didn't want to make these kids feel a certain way or that same way? Cool. Give us that. But no, fuck you. We're not going to tell you anything. That's what this story was. And to me, just because it's for kids doesn't mean you don't fucking tell the story. So fucking dumb. It really is. It really is. God damn it. I actually got rid of a tab I didn't want to get rid of. So yeah, these creators that are there really have no idea. It's kind of like, you know, the spin move in the Book of Boba Fett. the spin and shoot. Like, somebody told him to do that. Why? Because it looks cool in their eyes. It's fucking pathetic from the audience perspective. But yeah. It's kind of like when Tony Gilroy came out and talked about Andor and talked about how, you know, he didn't want to put droids and aliens at the forefront of a Star Wars fucking show. Why? Because, I don't know, he doesn't care. He never cared about Star Wars. Self-proclaimed Star Wars hater, in fact. I forgot about that spin. I never forget the stupid shit that I see. You know, and Star Wars Theory, let me just say this. There was a lot more wrong with Andor than screws and bricks, man. And you know it. You just used the screws and bricks so that you could ride the fence hard enough. Grind that cock on that wood. Get those splinters in there. Oh, yeah. Big time. So how many people did these people, the kids get killed? It was a few. It was a fair few, especially when they came in this last episode and raided the planet. They were orbital bombarding this thing. Orbitally bombarding this thing. Oh, man, I just thought of something that I forgot to mention in my review. So there was an episode, I can't remember what episode it was, but there was an episode where they went to the planet that they thought was at Aden, but it was at Andron, right? Which is basically a planet that looks exactly the same, used to be a mint as well, but got overrun and destroyed. Where the chick there showed Neil, that's why they had to walk away. That's why they had to leave the kids to shoot their guns and train by themselves while her and Neil went and had a, you know, half-hour-long conversation. But she showed him where the cannon was, right? And she showed him how to activate the cannon and all of that sort of thing. And where did he get the crowbar from to open up the cannon? Like, it doesn't show you that. It cuts to him going, oh, I found the turbo laser. And then it cuts to him being in the turbo laser shooting at the ship. And the other thing too is like the time in that. There was a couple of things that took place in this last episode where it was like, boom, they're there. It was the same thing with the X-Wings showing up. The barrier gets taken down, and just conveniently enough, just as they do that, the New Republic's there. How long does it take them to travel through space? They literally, 5 minutes earlier, it was literally 5 minutes earlier, put the message out to not the New Republic, they put the message out to the owl, the female owl, right? From episode 3 or something. The owl. They send a message to her. She's then going to relay that message to the New Republic, and the New Republic is just there. It's just there. So convenient. So convenient. And that's one thing that, you know, It definitely got highlighted in The Acolyte that they can't actually do time in Star Wars, space travel time, just generally. You know, you might have a character that's at the bottom of the hill, right? And this is just an example. You might have a character that's at the bottom of the hill, right? And then, okay, maybe it cuts away from that character for a second and goes to another character. You have a 2-second conversation and it cuts back to that character and she's at the top of the hill, or he's at the top of the hill, whoever, right? But, you know, everything else is still in the same position it was. Nobody else has moved. It's like everybody just gets put on pause while this person runs up the hill, and then they click play again and everybody's like, okay, we're back into it. That's what their time is like in Disney Star Wars. A 100%. But this is the thing though, Jody, is that it was done really well in Star Wars originally. You know, even in Star Wars, when they leave Tatooine in the Falcon and they're traveling to Alderaan, what happens in that time? Are they just there? Do we just cut and they're there? No. Luke's training during that time. In fact, Han even comes out of the cockpit, sits down and just chills while they're traveling through hyperspace. You got Chewbacca and droids playing chess. That's showing time go by. In The Acolyte, and it's similar to this show, it's like, all right, let's send a message out there. We got to get from the core systems, right, like Coruscant, to the Outer Rim, and guess what? They're just there. They just arrive. They literally sent the message, and then 2 seconds later they're there. When it should probably take, like, it depends on the hyperdrive that you're using. I get it, but it should take, like, maybe, especially from the core systems to the Outer Rim. Fuck. I've done this before, but I want to check something. Let's see. Well, this is why it does depend on the hyperdrive that you're using, right? And it doesn't say whether or not this is in hyperspace. That can't be right. Apparently, to travel from Coruscant to Tatooine, it's 22 days. I dare say that's not under well, there it is. Let me move this over here. Let me bring this up. I'll show you guys what I'm looking at. They don't do this. They don't do this. So this is just an example. How long does it take to fly from Tatooine to Alderaan? This is the tab that I just clicked on. Alderaan is at to Bespin is 8 hours. Alderaan to Tatooine is 7 hours. So it took them 7 hours, and they did a good job of showing that, right? Took them 7 hours to get basically from Tatooine to Alderaan. I think that's pretty good. I think they showed that pretty well. Bespin to Tatooine is 16 hours. Coruscant, that's the big one. Coruscant to Tatooine is 22 days. The only reason why I wanted to check that was because that means that in The Phantom Menace, I gotta see whether or not that's under hyperdrive. Hold on one second, because that seems really long to me. Um, oops. Sorry, guys. I know I hate the dead air, but no shit. That's such a stupid thing. In Star Wars, the time it takes to travel from Tatooine to Coruscant by hyperdrive depends on the speed of the ship. It's fucking. Still says 22 days. I can't find anything that disputes that at this point in time. Anyway, I don't want to get too much into it, but you understand my point, right? Sorry, I hate having to do that because then I stop seeing the chat. I understand. I understand completely that it depends on the class of the hyperdrive, but still, 22 days seems a long time, and it certainly doesn't feel like Anakin, Padme, Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, when they finally got their ship fixed. Let's actually see. How would I search that? No, not Phantom of the Opera. In Phantom Menace, how long from... We're abbreviating it a little bit here. From... Uh, 15 hours. There you go. So they had a really fucking good hyperdrive in that Nubian. A really fucking good hyperdrive in that Nubian. So they were traveling at 0.2 light years per hour. And it's the distance of 3 light years. Okay, there you go. There you go. So they got a really fucking good hyperdrive on that fucking ship. Really fucking good. Yep. 15 hours. So I dare say that travel time from that 22 days would be not under any influence other than just sort of impulse engines, so to speak. Not going to warp. That's what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to start mixing shit in from other franchises. So anyway, you creatives, if it's a very loose term when I'm talking about Disney Star Wars people, you're really screwing shit up. We wanted to continue telling the story from the perspective of the kids, even though 50% of what we've shown you isn't from the perspective of the kids. Dumb cunt. You fucking idiot.
They came bounding over.
Fuck off! Disney! You fucking cunt!
I don't care.
We know you don't care. We know you don't care. This is a question for all the creators at Lucasfilm.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? Can you see the ball sack now?
You're like stroking your leg with your one finger too.
Oh, this is an oldie but a goodie. What'd you think? Laughing again. What was the funniest part for you?
The cybernetics building by far. God.
They were good times, actually. They were really good times.
How
Watching
bad
those shows
was
with
it?
Greg was fun. It was good.
Open.
I told you I could help. The Book of Avar Chris. Read it. We'll talk afterwards.
I don't read Disney Star Wars.
You will.
He hates me. They all hate me. That's why they're doing this. It's to make me crazy.
That's an old clip. G'day, Riff. Thanks for the membership, dude. Thank you. Tracking Fob, did you renew your membership? You sometimes you're on and off. Appreciate it. Really do appreciate it. Tim is weird. All right. Where are we going? Where are we going? Oh, Jacob. All right. Let's do it. Let's do Seal of the Week, all right? Let's fucking do Seal of the Week. I mean, get this out of the way. Where is my thing? I scrolled too far down to show all those clips.
I'm all the Jedi.
All right. So no, OG doesn't get the nominee. Who she's quote tweeting gets the nominee. We're going to just pause that for a second. Nothing mighty about him getting his ass beat all the time. The mighty Kylo Ren. Let's watch.
The mighty Kylo Ren. My boy.
Why do they have to ruin songs? That's what I've got more a problem with. I like this song. Why are you ruining it with this shit?
I see a red door and I want it painted black. No colors anymore, I want them to turn black.
We're not done yet.
Oh, we're done. There's so many bad shit in there. Wow, pain. That's stopping the lightsaber with the Force thing. They've really made that such a fucking thing. Well, there you go. That's nominee number 1, K. Pronouns, 33, she, her, She sells seashells by the seashore. Yeah, pronouns. The next one is, of course, Kyle Katarn. Kyle Katarn, queer. Kyle Katarn here. We are so back. We've already talked about that. I don't think I need to elaborate on it. It's a fucking bad take because you don't think Star Wars went anywhere, you fucking idiot. And then the last two. Jacob gets 2 nominations this week. Can you believe it? Gets 2 nominations. This shot from the Skeleton Crew finale is an all-time great, to be honest. I mean, Jacob is the number one person to say this is the best Star Wars I've ever seen. This is the best Star Wars I've ever seen. It's like the fucking the level that he must be at this point in time in regards to how good Star Wars is fucking incredible. So there's nominee number 3. Nominee number 4 is also J.I. Jacob, fake wife Jacob. Absolutely. This is in response to this question. We actually talked about this, I think, last week in regards to whether or not the sequels will have a similar like redemption arc over time, right? Like, you know, and people have been talking about it ever since the sequels first came out, that they were fucking, oh, you know, give it time. People didn't like the prequels, and just time changed it all. But here we go. Jacob says, absolutely. If Star Wars has proven anything, it's that as time goes on, most projects become more beloved within the fandom. Okay, there might be some truth to that. That's not going to be the case with this. If anything, in the 7 to 9 years, whatever it is that we've actually had the sequel trilogy from The Force Awakens onwards, they have been more and more despised over time. More and more hated, less watched. Not by you, Jacob, obviously. We're already seeing a lot less hate for the sequel trilogy, really, and more people coming around on these films, which means so much to myself and my other fans of that era. Okay. There's your fucking 4 seals of the week. I should have put that Brutus beat-off one in. Let's put the poll in the chat. Oh my God, what's wrong with my fingers? All right, the poll is in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. We still have just under 50 people here. I really appreciate you all being here. Please do smash the like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. And vote. Vote on this poll. So, to go through the nominees, not OG, it's Kay, the she-sure herself. Talking about Kylo Ren, the mighty Kylo Ren. Kyle Katarn here. We're so back. Jacob and this last shot of Skeleton Crew is an all-time great. And Jacob again saying that the sequel trilogy will eventually be beloved by everyone. Get your votes in. Get your votes in. All right. While we're doing that, we are going to watch this video. I need to... Sorry. No, it won't. Alistair, you're 100% correct. It certainly will not.
Okay, fine, acceptable, decent. These are all words that I think neatly describe Star Wars Skeleton Crew. It was a fun, well-meaning, inoffensive little romp of a show, reliably entertaining without being particularly memorable.
I do want to say it was less offensive at the beginning of the show. As the show went on, and it had to dive more and more into actual Star Wars lore and Star Wars canon, the more offensive it did get.
surprisingly free of the tedious identity politics that have blighted most of modern Star Wars.
Oh, I got to disagree with him again there. I have to disagree with you, Drinker. What they did with Fern was not make her a tomboy. They made her a boy in a girl's outfit. The way that she acted, the snobbiness, the like, even dudes probably wouldn't actually act that way. The way that she was, the man spreading of the legs while she's sitting there chilling. You know, like, it's just, I got to completely disagree. It removed away from the identity politics of what Disney Star Wars has been doing. I don't think so. I don't think so. It made Wim a little crying little bitch. Elephant guy Neil, I mean, he was just afraid all the time, but seemed to be successful all the time. Just happened to get away with it. But that chick, I tell you what, her and her friend KB, they just do everything. Fucking, you know, like KB getting the coordinates home from, like, the droid plugs in to get the coordinates, right? And while he's, you know, doing his thing, yeah, there's a hologram up, but like, she got the coordinates just from looking at that. Okay.
With a likable cast of characters who played well off each other, and a capable big-name star at its censor who understood his assignment and delivered exactly what was expected of him. A show that took no particular risks and pushed no boundaries, that had no aspirations for anything bigger or grander, but instead just got its head down and told its story without fuss or pretense.
So what's the story, Drinker?
A story of space pirates and adventure and cool aliens, of space battles and hidden treasure and deadly traps, of friendship and camaraderie, and even a charming little subtext about learning to accept
There's the man-spreading scene.
people's differences and limitations that didn't make me want to shower in bleach afterwards. If it was a restaurant, it would be a humble little village pub, cozy and well used and maybe a bit old-fashioned, serving up simple, unpretentious food that goes well with a pint or two and doesn't cost the earth. And when you leave, you end up thinking to yourself, not a bad place that, might pop in again sometime.
No, I disagree. But see, this is where there's a bit of a difference. You know, Critical Drinker, yeah, he is a Star Wars fan and he loves Star Wars. But, you know, when it comes to talking about lore and stuff like that, you know, he normally gets Ryan on to come and talk to him. I agree with you, Justin. It's a shit take. It really is. But I don't want to necessarily justify for him because I do like Drinker and I do like a lot of his takes and stuff. I just disagree with him on this. You know, it would be like me saying, like, I don't know, what's something that Drinker really loves? Does he watch Doctor Who? Or I couldn't even give an example, an analogy in regards to Doctor Who. Star Trek, like, it would be like them doing a kids show, like a kids adventure for one of those things, but then, you know, when it gets inserted into that franchise, they completely go away from it. I just don't know. I can't really elaborate on it more than that, but there is problems with this show that align with problems that are in some of the other shows that they have come out with.
What I'm saying is that under normal circumstances, I'd actually consider Skeleton Crew a bit of a win for Star Wars fans. Not an epic win by any stretch, and nothing that's going to change the landscape of the franchise forever, but a decent little show that managed to not piss anyone off, did exactly what it was designed to do, and then bowed out.
Did it really not piss anyone off? Piss me off. So many things about this show piss me off.
Out gracefully, a show that proved there's other.
It's like them saying that, you know, Andor was really good and everybody that did watch it liked it. No, it's such a generalization.
There's stories to be told in the Star Wars universe that don't have to revolve around Jedi and lightsabers and desperate nostalgia baits. The kind of thing that parents could happily watch along with their kids once a week, and everyone involved would come away feeling like they hadn't just wasted 30 minutes of their lives.
Wow.
Unlike other shows I could mention.
The power of
There's just one small problem in all of this. Nobody fucking watched it. According to Nielsen's streaming data, the show premiered with the lowest viewership.
That's the problem with it. Nobody watched it. Yeah, I'm also nobody.
Of any Star Wars series ever, and
I hate the generalizations when these things happen. You know, everybody that did watched it actually liked it. Such a generalization. Did you watch every single person's video? Every single person's comments in regards to whether or not they did or didn't like a show? It's fine if you want to sit there and say, I liked it, or I thought it was fine. I thought it was decent. I didn't think it did anything wrong. And I can disagree with you. But to say to generalize it and say everybody, that's being disingenuous to the people that are watching your video. As far as I'm concerned. Because if they come over and watch my video on it and see how I talk about it, well, it's completely different to how you talk about it. You're talking about this kid adventure show. Yeah, there's some stupid, silly shit in there, but it's not offensive. How do you know that it's not offensive? When you need Ryan Kennel to come on and explain Star Wars lore to you sometimes. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. But when you've got a droid that gets his head chopped off and then he's walking around still talking with his head under his arm, how does that work in the Star Wars galaxy? How does a programmed droid, use lore from schoolyard bullshit dibsies to override the programming of the pirate code because it's close enough? Those things are offensive to Star Wars lore. Drinker, I'm sorry, mate, but they are. And you know what? It's still the people that are behind the scenes creating these shows that still don't give a fuck.
Its first week with only 380 million minutes watched. Jesus, that's even worse than the act.
Wait, what happened with the droid? Well, last week... Hang on, let me bring it up first. It's the opening to my fucking my trailer reaction, my reaction to episode 7. I've got to go to my own channel, don't I? So this won't take long. So this happened last week, right? So do they put the droid in there? Yep, the droid.
Well. Back again, are we? Stay with our kids, I'll handle this.
There goes the droid. They even put the droid in the flashes at the beginning, and everybody's talking about how much they love the droid and stuff. And Shmi, they love Shmi, the droid, the pirate, Shmi. And then they go and kill him. Just like they kill every other character that these Disney Star Wars fans love. Oh, man, it's so funny to me. Okay, so that happened last week. Now, okay. Oh, we're going to the wrong screen there. Okay, let me show you this really quickly. Sorry, guys. We're going to just throw a little pause in here, all right? Because I got to show you this. So the droid gets its head chopped off. It falls to the ground like a limp dick. And that's it. It's all over. Droid's dead. Now, yes, the droid can be, let's say, fixed, reprogrammed, fixed up, and brought, let's say, back to life. Right? But Actually, I'm going to bring this over here, but I actually need to change the way I'm sharing it. Hold on one second. Sorry, guys. I need to find the spot, so just give me a sec. Where is it? Oh, here. All right, here we go. Look at this. So the droid is now sitting next to her. She's trying to get outside the barrier. KB is trying to get outside the barrier. The little rat thing that sits inside his lost eye. Look, the droid's sitting in the seat and she's just holding the head. Right? She's holding the head. When she gets out, she sends the transmission. She just dumps the head on the broken body, right? But then later in the episode, this bit looks so fake too. The way KB falls out of the ship here. It looks like she's not even on the platform. It just looks like it's just moving down. Like, watch it again. It's man, when I first saw it, I fucking laughed. It's hilarious. Watch the way it looks. Look, so dumb. But then watch this. So she's still alive, and it's lucky because that ship, the way that ship was busted and falling back to Earth or the atmosphere or whatever. When it made impact, it should have exploded. It should have exploded. Watch this.
Yep. One of my...
There you go. This is my point in regards to the point that I'm trying to get to, with this, is that he gets his head chopped off, right? And he falls like a limp dick to the ground. If this is possible, why didn't he just get back up, pick up his head, and fucking keep fighting?
Better landings, that is.
You did it, 33.
He's still talking. Still moving around with no head, just holding his head. So you want to say this is inoffensive to Star Wars? I call bullshit. And I understand what you're saying. As a kid's adventure show, it's inoffensive. For a kid's adventure show. For a Star Wars kid's adventure show, it shits all over the fucking shit. What are you talking about?
Acolyte, the previous record holder for worst Star Wars reception ever.
Son of a bitch!
It didn't even make it into Disney's top 10 originals chart, and it was only downhill from there. Basically, Skeleton Crew launched without hype or fanfare and then pretty much disappeared entirely before it was even over. Now, if I was in the mood for pointing the finger of blame, and I am, then I could probably single out a few points of failure for this one. And when talking about failures, they really don't come much bigger than the Acolyte. Honestly, the more I think about that fucking show, the more I realize just how much damage it actually did to the Star Wars brands.
It's too bad that the more you think about Skeleton Crew, you can't see any damage that it's done to the Star Wars brand, when I can clearly show you things and damage that it's done to the Star Wars brand. And this is why I hate when you use the generalizations that everybody that did watch it actually thought it was good.
wasn't exactly gleaming and shiny to begin with. It really was a culmination of everything that people had come to despise about Disney Star Wars.
And this show actually also goes against the narrative of, oh, all you Star Wars fans, all you want is lightsabers and Jedi and this and that. This had lightsabers. This had Force. This had a Force user. Fucking Acolyte had that as well. Just because Andor didn't doesn't mean that that's why we didn't like it.
A perfect storm of shitty writing, incompetent acting and directing, rampant.
I will give the fact that there was, at least in Skeleton Crew, there was some competent acting. I'll give you that.
Identity politics, shameless girl bossing, and a weird.
There's no shameless girl bossing with that, with Fern. I could definitely see shameless girl bossing there.
Sex-obsessed showrunner who compensated for her total lack of Star Wars understanding by inserting fucked up romantic subplots into a story that absolutely didn't support them. It was a disaster in every.
And this is the other thing too that I also we've talked about this before too. Just because a show isn't woke or doesn't have that identity politics stuff does not mean that it's good. And it doesn't even mean that it's a passable thing.
Every possible way, ridiculed by pretty much everyone to the point where even Disney had to concede defeat by cancelling it, and it really did expose just how bad Star Wars had gotten. Now there was just no hiding it anymore, no pretending that the brand was still thriving on Disney Plus, and inevitably the shockwaves of that show's failure were going to damage anything within the blast radius, which just so happened to include Skeleton Crew. I am fully willing to bet that a good chunk of this show's potential audience took one look at the Acolyte and thought, nah, I don't think Star Wars is for me anymore. It certainly didn't kill the show all by itself, but it definitely didn't help it either.
I'm not going to disagree with him there. It's kind of the same thing with Solo, right? Solo, a Star Wars story. I reckon that if the Last Jedi was actually good and people actually enjoyed it and thought that it was decent and all of that kind of thing, not that there was any chance of that ever happening, but let's say it was, Solo would have done better. 100%. It's 100%.
Another problem facing Skeleton Crew is that there was no particular draw for this show, either in the characters or the cast. Yeah.
Isn't the draw supposed to be that it's Star Wars? Like, really, when you think about it, isn't the draw supposed to be that it's Star Wars?
Yeah, Jude Law is definitely a good actor, and without doubt the best thing about Skeleton Crew, but
I
he's not
agree.
exactly well known to little kids who are the target audience for this one. The characters are all original creations as well, and as much as I respect the show for not relying on nostalgia bait and key jangling, the sad reality is that most of what passes for the Star Wars fan base these days are only going to respond to instantly recognizable characters like Darth Vader or Luke Skywalker or Obi-Wan Kenobi, so they can.
That's not even necessarily true either, because the Disney Star Wars fans, they were talking about the Brutus beat-offs. That's where you get people coming out on X saying, you're 4 inches deep in Chimera and Brutus is 4 inches deep in you. Do you move forward or backwards? This is a kids show, and these were the topics of discussion within the Disney Star Wars fan base. Do you see how sick and disgusting and twisted that is?
Can get the quick dopamine hit of seeing something familiar in a new context.
Live.
Ah, he vatored! He vatored!
This is the kind of person that gets excited by Star Wars now.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Fuck.
Take out.
This is the thing. Oh, here we go. Take Andor, for example. I can't even remember what the thing was that I was going to say because he's about to bring up Andor.
Andor, for example, arguably the single best piece of storytelling that Disney have ever managed to do in the Star.
broke them. It's a good thing that they were only temporarily broken. Fuck you, drinker. Couldn't disagree with you more. Which one am I in the last one? I put it on wrong. Fuck, that pisses me off. Let's see if I actually...
Star Wars
No,
universe.
that's about audio.
A smart, mature, complex take on the franchise with superb acting and top-notch directing and cinematography. And another show that nobody fucking watched, nobody talked about, and which basically disappeared without a trace after it was over. Why? Because nobody in the modern Star Wars fandom knew or cared about Cassian Andor, so his presence didn't provide that big dopamine hit that they were looking for. If the showrunners had thrown in Chewbacca and the Millennium Falcon and a digitally de-aged Han Solo and maybe some shameless Darth Vader cameos and then plastered them all over the advertising, I'm willing to bet that the show would have done way better. And that is a pretty sad state of affairs, let me tell you. The point I'm making here is that if Star Wars was actually a healthy, thriving brand with a highly engaged fan base, then it wouldn't have to keep relying on 40-year-old characters and ships and iconography to generate interest in new projects. The fans would actually be excited for each new show, and sure, some would...
I agree. I do agree with you. If Star Wars was in a really good place, the fan base would be in a really good place. Everybody would be talking about it positively. True? Like, is that, like... It's kind of like when you hear commentators in sports going, oh, that's a really bad thing. Like, no shit. Tell me something I should already fucking know.
Inevitably do better than others, but people would at least be willing to give them a shot. That's not happening anymore because Star Wars isn't a healthy brand. It's a dying brand with a string of failed projects dragged.
And this is the other thing too, like he was talking about how, you know, if Skeleton Crew would have benefited, or even Andor would have benefited from Darth Vader and Millennium Falcon and a DH Han Solo and a Chewbacca and this and that and everything. You know what? You know what's really funny about that statement is that they did throw the jangling keys in Andor. They did. It was there. Mon Mothma. She was there. She's a very popular character. The everything in Luthen's Store, we've gone over this a million times. They did put the jangling keys on the screen and still no one gave a fuck. Except for the people that sit there and go, oh look, holocrons in a store on Coruscant. Vader didn't sense them. Palpatine didn't sense them. Didn't raid his store for all the... Oh, it's so dumb, man. Mon Pelosi, yeah. That's pretty much what it is. Thank you, SWA.
Dragging down its reputation and an increasingly bored, cynical, and disengaged fan base that are no longer willing to give it the benefit of the doubt. The default expectation for each new project now seems to be, it'll probably suck. It's created a hostile environment where new shows on Disney Plus now have an uphill battle just to be given a fair shot, and most of them don't even make it that far. Skeleton Crew failed not because it was a bad show, but because it was part of a bad franchise.
I do agree with that in a sense, but I still think it is a bad show. In Star Wars.
It died.
It's a bad Star Wars show.
Part of a bad franchise. It died and Star Wars killed it. And realistically, when is that likely to change?
Never.
The next big show coming up is Andor Season 2, and considering the first season didn't exactly set the franchise on fire, what do you expect the sequel's likely to achieve? The Mandalorian,
especially after what we've had since Andor.
And Grogu movie? Wouldn't exactly expect great things from that either. The disastrous failure of Season 3 proved that they've mined that particular property for all it's worth, and I don't imagine a movie's going to turn things around anytime soon. And then there's the Rey Palpatine movie. That project was announced almost 2 years ago, and in that time it's progressed about as much as George R.R. Martin's work on Winds of Windsor. There's actually rumors circulating now that Disney are considering shelving the Star Wars brand to focus on salvaging what's left of the MCU, because that was once profitable. And while I generally put as much stock in them as a New Year's resolution from Boogie, it seems to me that that's exactly what Star Wars needs now. A rest, preferably for 5 to 10 years. Enough time to ditch the current crop of village idiots working at Lucasfilm, allow the fan base to slowly forget the nightmare of the past decade, and then relaunch it under a new format. That is the only way you're likely to revitalize this thing.
That won't even do that, Drinker. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? Everybody talks about this hiatus thing and, like, you know, shelve it for 10 years. And shelve it for 25 years and then bring it back and it'll be okay. No, you kidding? The only way that Star Wars will ever be okay again is decanonization of the crap. And that's everything since Disney took it over. Everything. If you want to keep TCW, I guess, I still think you could decanonize that as well. But god damn, seriously? Are we seriously saying after everything that we've had from Disney Star Wars that if we just put it on a hiatus for 10 years and bring it back, it'll be fine? Wow, what a statement.
Until then, you should probably prepare yourselves for more skeleton crews, because the worst is very much still to come. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Again, I gotta give Drinker like a little bit of the benefit of the doubt in the fact that, you know, he's been reviewing pop culture, movies, shows, and a lot of stuff for a long time, and he does talk a lot about story. He does talk a lot about performance. He does talk a lot about plot, and he does talk a lot about those things. Now, unless you are a massive hardcore fan, maybe you're not going to notice the things that I notice. Maybe you're not going to notice the things that Ryan Kennel notices if he would have watched it, right? I probably would have thought that Ryan would have probably even seen more problems with it than even I did because of how much he knows. But God, that video was full of that was a lot of bad takes. Sorry, I'm giving that a thumbs down, Drinker. It's bad, man. It's fucking bad. How's this poll going? What? You already thrown up once today because you overate already. It just doesn't know when to stop. All right, how many votes we got here? We've got 28 votes in the poll, and there's 44 people still watching. Let me go through these really quickly before we end it. See if we can get a couple more votes in. Poor kitty. No, don't show sympathy to him. He doesn't. No. You're still 2 hours away from more food, so go eat the dry food that's there and don't scoff it so you throw it up. So that's what he does. Man, Rhino is mad. And then he comes over and he's right at my feet now, rubbing up against my knees. All right. Let's see. So nominee number 1 is Kay, the she, her, saying the mighty Kylo Ren, and went through a whole, what do they call them? Seal what? These are the seal clappers. These are the people that when they watch Disney Star Wars, all they know how to do is seal clap their way through it. Seal clapping emojis, if you want to become a member, you get access to those. There are other emojis as well, of course. The critical drinker is great. I do agree with you. I like Drinker. I really do. I can't agree with him, though, on his take on Skeleton Crew or Andor. And I agree with him on pretty much everything else when it comes to Disney Star Wars. I just disagree with him completely on those things. And I would love to be able to have a discussion with either him or Mauler or any of those guys to explain to them why I think that this show isn't as good as they say it is. Now, they can sit there and they can disagree and they can still think it's a good show. but I should still be allowed to disagree and say why I think it's a bad show. And, you know, instead of, like I said, generalizing and say the biggest problem with this is the fact that nobody watched it. No, the biggest problem with this is the fact that it's Disney Star Wars. It's crap. Yes, people didn't watch it. But then even if you did watch it, you know, especially when it comes to something like Skeleton Crew, yeah, cool. It's a kid's adventure story. If it's in isolation and not in the Star Wars franchise, I would say it's kind of okay. But because they've inserted into the Star Wars franchise, there's a lot of things that are just not making sense. I mean, we just showed one before with the droid, you know. So, look, you know, people during the cycle of this series coming out, like the Skeleton Crew series coming out and everything, there was a lot of people, you know, pissed off because we had a lot of momentum going against anti-Disney Star Wars because of Acolyte, and it's been building and building and building over time. And I get that. But like there are differences of people in the franchise in regards to how much they dive into it and how much they actually love it. You know, oh, I don't think that's the case. Nobody at Disney is listening to the fans. You kidding? I don't agree with that. Well, you know, in regards to that, like what needs fixing and how, there's only one way: decanonization. Make their crap legends and bring back the original Star Wars and the original EU. But see, I don't even want them to do that because they basically are kind of doing that right now, because they think that taking a character or taking something out of the EU and giving it to you like Thrawn or something like that. And that's why you see the Disney Star Wars fans out there going, you know, you've been wanting the EU. They're finally giving you the EU. They're finally giving you what you want. And it's like, no, are you retarded? They're not giving us what we want. They're taking the name of somebody of, yes, that we would want to see their story and then completely destroying that character. Ryan talks about it all the time, even with the Plagueis thing in the Acolyte, you know? And are you telling me that when in the final episode of this with the tentative forecut flying in, man, wait for Grizzy's video of episode 8. Let's see all the seal claps, right, to seeing that ship. In fact, is there someone that we can watch? Like, let's see. Oh, man. Let's see. Skeleton Crew. Let me finish going through these so you guys can vote. Sorry. And thank you for all your comments. I've been reading what you're saying and stuff. Like, thanks for being here. And yeah. So this is nominee number 1, the Kylo Ren, Mighty Kylo Ren. Kyle Katan here says, we're so back. We're so back. You got Jacob saying that this shot in Skeleton Crew finale is the all-time great. And then you've also got his comments in regards to whether or not the sequel trilogy is going to be beloved. And he truly does believe that it is. So there are your 4 nominees for Seal of the Week. You've got Kay, you've got Kyle Katan, and then 3 and 4 is Jacob. It's just whether or not you pick which one you want. Let's see. Skeleton Crew. What would I do? Watch parties? Would they still be up? Episode 8. Shush. We're not watching. Right, Melvin? All right, let's take a look here. I went too far. Oh, there. Yeah, perfect. Couldn't be any more perfect.
But fly off. I tell ya, it's not the last we saw of Captain Wem. Ooh, look at that Carillion cruiser. Hey, buddy, getting ideas. Alvin!
The jangling keys of the Carillion cruiser. That's like I want to see some. I want to see someone clap though. Hold on. Their reaction was fine, I think. Let's see. I don't even think I need to play this video. Princess Leia, question mark. This is the thumbnail. Skeleton Crew, best scene. Best scenes. Oh. Well, that was it. I just yeeted myself from my own fucking stream. Idiot. I went back on the wrong screen. I clicked back on this tab instead of this tab. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, boomer. I did. I boomed a big time. Let's see. Oh, these two. These two reacting. Let's see. This is a good demonstration of the seals. See, I don't call them shills. There are shills out there, and these people are. There's definitely the shills within the seals.
Kim,
There you go.
Can you send your friends in the X-Wing fighters?
X-Wing? Yeah.
I'll contact the New Republic. They're the greatest pirate busters in the galaxy. They'll be there in 2 flaps.
Nice.
It's definitely sounded like a fucking seal, didn't it? I want to see how they react to the cruiser coming in. Yeah, it's just after this.
I don't have to take assessment anymore.
This droid carrying its fucking head.
Yeah, right?
The world is
The great, there
universe
isn't
is
no
really-
great work no more.
Yeah, exactly. They can go wherever.
Yeah.
Or stay there.
Now he's like, I want to be part of the Republic. I want to be a ranger.
Nice. Ah, you're going to the stars. Alex Rogan over here. Nice. Good job. See, finally, they made the New Republic look valiant. And they let the villain look.
Those are the seals. So, like I said, you can vote. We're going to close the poll off. We got over 30, so that's good. I think we're good on the seal of the week. Let's bring that up. Excuse me. All right, Eric. Soon. Soon. God damn you. All right. Let's end the poll. Such a whiny meow, too. Listen to it. All right. The poll has ended. Where is it? Are you going to show me the results? Hello? Oh my God, where are the poll results? There they are. Fuck. Man, why did that take so long? All right, so in last place this week with 9% of the vote is J.I. Acob with his take on the final scene. That's probably the right one, I would say. In second last place, or third place, with 25% of the vote was Kyle Katarn here. We are so back, which is a stupid take when you love everything already. I don't know what we're back from exactly. In second place, the runner-up this week with 28% of the vote was Kay, the she, her, right, with a little fan cam of Kylo Ren. And the winner of this week's Seal of the Week with 37% of the vote is number 4, J.I. Acob, saying basically in response to whether or not the sequel trilogy will be beloved over time or whatever the case may be, he says, absolutely. If Star Wars has proven anything, it's that as time goes on, most projects become more beloved within the fandom. We're already seeing a lot less hate for the sequel trilogy and more people coming around on these films, which means so much to myself and my other fans of that era. Congratulations, J.I. Acob, and you and your fake wife. You win this week's Seal of the Week.
Hello, the Jedi.
Thanks, guys. I saw you guys trying to help me out with that. I don't know what happened. I don't know why it took so long for the poll to come up. And hello to New York, Florida, man. Good to see you. Signed and sealed. I like that. Very good. Mr. Bantham, for his 2-month member chat, says, not less hate, it's more apathy. Correct. They can have it. I agree. I completely agree. Good to be here. Really? I thought that fight looked fucking shit. Anyway. All right, we were going to watch Melvin's Shill Wars episode 6, but I might save it. I might save it for 200. I think 200 we're going to have hopefully I can get a couple of guests on from Beauty and the Beast. No, we're going to hopefully get a couple of guests on, and I don't exactly know what we're going to go over. We'll go over obviously some of the news stuff throughout the week as we usually do, but we might watch a couple of videos and we'll just have a laugh and we'll have some fun with it, and see how it goes. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today, guys. Skeleton Crew is over. You can expect my episode 8 Skeleton Crew review out later today. For me, it's going to be tonight. So for you guys, it's probably going to be in the morning, tomorrow morning or something like that. If you're in America, that is. Yes, go subscribe to Melvin. Go and subscribe to the Gatekeepers Alliance as well. I watched some of their first stream. If they had have sent me a link, I probably would have just jumped on at work for 10 minutes or something like that. But they were just doing their thing, which is cool. Rhino, I do have a question. If you had to choose the creation of a new Star Wars story, what would you want? Man, First of all, you don't need to send super chats. Like, I appreciate super chats. Of course, everybody appreciates super chats. Members, all you guys, helping out and contributing. I really do appreciate that. But you don't need to send a super chat. Sometimes I see the question, sometimes I don't. I appreciate the question. What would I do? Well, see, for me, it's not a matter of creating necessarily I couldn't create a new story to put into the Disney Star Wars canon. I just couldn't. Because Disney Star Wars is so convoluted and has so many problems within itself. Like, for example, the Tales of the Jedi, the Ahsoka story in Tales of the Jedi completely retcons and does basically retcons the Ahsoka novel. Their own canon, mind you. Disney's own canon. So not only did that destroy some parts of Lucas's canon, especially when it comes to Yaddle and Qui-Gon and Dooku, but then when it comes to the Ahsoka stuff, they actually destroyed their own canon when it came to the novel. I want a refund because now that novel means nothing, right? And it wasn't just the color of the lightsabers either. It was the actual story of what happened. So my solution to basically fixing Star Wars or creating something in Star Wars, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. It's decanonizing Disney Star Wars, recanonizing the EU, and adapting those stories and telling them honorably within the Star Wars galaxy and actually doing, abiding to the laws and the rules of the Star Wars galaxy. That's my solution. It really is. And people always argue this point is like, oh, but then you're going to piss off all the fans that like the Disney Star Wars stuff. What? Just like they pissed off all the actual Star Wars fans that love the EU when they decanonized that? Oh, but the EU was never canon. Oh, that's why they decanonized it? Canon being implied that it was canon? They decanonized it. I don't know how you can decanonize something that was never canon. I mean, that just blows my mind, the logic in that. So that's honestly my solution. Like, the thing is that the hard thing with the EU now is the fact that we've lost, Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill's a Looney Tune, and you would probably never get Harrison Ford back to ever again to Star Wars. They would have to throw $100 million at him for him to say yes, and he would phone it in too. So it would be a shit performance for so much money. But if it came to like adapting the Heir to the Empire stuff, moving into like the New Jedi Order and stuff like that, you could probably recast the big three as older people because you're going to have the story more revolving around the grandkids of Anakin, like, your Jaina and Jason Solo and your Anakin Solo and your Ben Skywalkers and stuff like that. So it's going to sort of more revolve around them. So I don't really necessarily mind them recasting older versions of those characters to do it later in the future. But you still want to tell that Heir to the Empire story. It's so good. You still want to tell that. And the best way that I reckon you could do that is to do animated movies, not a series. You wouldn't do that as a series. You would do it as a trilogy of 3 animated movies. And then you would move forward into your live action. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because you actually do want to tell those stories and you can't, I don't think when it comes to recasting the younger versions or like, only a couple of years out from Return of the Jedi, you could recast. I'm not saying that you couldn't, but I don't think you should. That's why animated would probably be the best way to go for me. But thank you. Thank you for the question. And I hope I didn't ramble that out too much. Which show would you focus on? Would building around first? We'll see. I will say this though. If let's say I got creative control over Star Wars and it was now my baby and I had complete and utter control and say over it, yes, I would decanonize those things. But the first thing that I would do wouldn't be Heir to the Empire. It wouldn't be moving forward. It wouldn't be anything after Return of the Jedi. It actually wouldn't be anything in the era that they seem to not be able to get out of right now. It would actually be, I would move to, you know what I would probably do? I'd probably do the Bane trilogy in live action as a trilogy of movies. That's probably what I would do. Establishing the rule of two back, you know, because if you remember, Disney changed the rule of two to be a master and apprentice. Master to have the power and a apprentice to crave it, right? That's no longer what the rule of two is in Disney Star Wars canon. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but apparently now, because of the Inquisitors and the way that they've told their story, is it's two Sith to rule the rest, to rule them all. And that was the entire problem with what was wrong with the Sith in regards to why the rule of two was made in the first place. You know, Mark's in the chat. How you doing, mate? Mr. Raging Runner, my man. How you doing, dude? We got Melissa Lord for $2 saying, bring back Raging Geek Jedi. That's, man, I haven't spoken to Jeff in ages. I probably haven't even, honestly haven't spoken to Greg in ages either. Like, I still watch and stuff like that and still pay attention to what these guys are talking about. But, man, the difference is, back when COVID was on and we were trapped in our houses, it was so easy to speak to these guys and do streams and this and that. It's so much harder now. So much harder now. It really is. Thank you. I appreciate that. Appreciate it. You never read Bane? Is that what you're talking about? Man. Stopped reading around the prequel era. I read a few and stopped. Don't, man. The EU, there's some stuff in the EU that's not good. I'm not going to say that it's all fantastic and it's all great and it's all amazing and a 10 out of 10. No. There is some stuff in there that, you know, even I sit there and go, that's a bit shonky. That's a bit silly. That's a bit, you know, come on. Could have done better than that. But, man, there are a lot of stories out there that are really, really fucking good. You don't need to adapt at all. You don't need to adapt at all. Anyway, all right, I'm going to get out of here, guys. You guys have been great. Thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. We had a great number of people in the chat today, which was fantastic. Thank you to everybody that did send super chats, to all the members, of course, as well. I appreciate all of you guys, that ongoing support. You know, it helps and it's fantastic, and I really appreciate it. So next week, just a reminder, next week there's no Casual Rage. Unfortunately, I need to just change things around with work, so I'm not getting the same day off. And I'm getting Monday off, which is like, what, we're Friday, 3 days away. I'm not going to do another stream, Casual Rage stream, in 3 days' time. So Casual Rage 200 will be, let me give you the date. Excuse me. For me, it's the 31st. For you guys, it'll be the 30th in America. You guys in America will be the 30th. So we'll be doing Casual Rage 200. We will try and do a really celebratory show and get a few guests and all of that kind of thing. So stay tuned. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe. And, of course, smash the like button. Go over and watch what's on right now, the Jack Show. I dare say the Jack Show is going, yes, and it's on. And it's just the big three right now. Jack Show. Oh, I was going to write it, but that's right. We got Anna, John, and Cecil on. So, yeah, go over and check that out. Anyway, thank you, everyone, for being here. We will see you in a couple of weeks' time for Casual Rage 200. And take care and be safe out there. There is... Oh, yeah, big time. Very opinionated. At this time, he's like, give me food. It's fucking 2 hours away, brother. Stop complaining. All right, I'm out. Let me find my clips. All right, guys, take care. We will see you in a couple of weeks for Casual Rage 200. Bye-bye.
You better put a chick in it. gay as fuck.
And I want it lame!
Power of one, the power of two, the power of many. The power of one, the power of two, the power of many.
What?
That is so lame!
They came bounding over.
Fuck off! Disney! You fucking cunt!
A few minutes? Are you kidding? At the rate they're gaining?
No, what is it? You have to shoot this. Traveling through hyperspace is like dusting crops, kid. Without precise calculations, we fly too close to a store. They're bouncing into a supermarket and then...
Yeah.
It'd be a hell of a mess.
What's that?
Watch. You're losing the deflector shields. Go strap yourselves in. Be careful on the way out.
Yeah, sure. I'm taking very caution.
You... Go away!
Bounce too near a supermarket?